this is Kylie from Hello Crafter, and this video I'm sharing with you today is one of the cards that we're making in our August card class. So if you have received a kit through the post, I'm going to show you how to make this card. If you've got the kit, then you will have a crumb cake card base, and this is a 10-fold card base. So I've cut an A4 sheet down in half at 10.5 centimetres lengthways, and then I've scored it at 14.8 centimetres to fold it in half. And you've also got a matte layer here. This is also crumb cake, and it measures 10 centimetres by 14.3. I've also given you two of the designs from the Rings of Love paper pack. The Rings of Love papers are free in Celebration, so until the end of August you can pick these papers for free with any £45 purchase. A couple of weeks left to do that if you love these papers. And I've used the bird one, so for this demonstration I'm going to use the houses. You'll also need, you've also got in your kit some of these elegant faceted gems just to embellish at the end. You're going to need just a stamp set for a sentiment. So I'm using the Happiness Abounds stamp set. I love these sentiments, just love the font, and just an ordinary black ink pad. So yeah, really easy this one. You first of all take your mat, and this is the torn paper effect card, or it's more torn and rolled really. It's like a scroll, and it's just a really lovely effective design. So you start with your crumb cake rectangle like this, and you're going to tear across. You can go from either side. It actually doesn't matter at this point because you can turn it round. And you want your window that you're tearing to be a few centimetres. This is, let's measure this. Grab my trimmer just to see. This is about 3.5 centimetres, 1.5 inches wide, but you could do it a little bit wider. And in fact, if I want one of these houses to poke through, I might want it a little bit wider, but we'll see how it goes. So I'm going to maybe mark with some scissors actually. Maybe I snip where I want to start tearing. So I'll do it about there. Doesn't really matter, doesn't have to be central or anything. So I've just snipped where I'm going to start tearing, and then I'm going to just tear down to about just over halfway, just over. That's just over halfway. And then again on the other side. Just want to make sure I leave enough space below the tear to stamp my sentiment as well. So I'm just going really slowly, really gently, so it doesn't have to be really straight or anything. It could be jagged. You don't have to worry too much. That's about good enough. So it's about just over halfway, like I said. Now this bit's sort of folded back now. You want these bits to be as flat as possible, so you don't want to kind of be bending those back. But this bit, if you can, roll it between your fingers a little bit so it rolls backwards. You get a bit of a nice curve. So if you hold it firmly between two fingers there, and then you scissor your fingers and roll it through. You know, like you're curling ribbon with scissors or something. And I'm just softening the fibres a little bit really to make it easier to roll. So you could do that with your bone folder, but just be careful not to keep everything else flat. I don't want to rip anything, so you've got to kind of hold the base of it while you're doing this. So just curling it up, and it's just really to make it easier. If you had a skewer or something, you could start rolling it around the skewer. I'm just going to start by sort of folding that first bit back on itself just a tiny bit, and that gives me something to start rolling, because I want my roll to be quite tight. If you find that at the end, when you've rolled it right back, it's really bulky, you can actually take some of it, you can chop it down a little bit to get rid of some bulk and then start rolling it from part way up. And especially if you need to post it, you might not want it to be really bulky to go in an envelope to post. So you could do that, but that's not too bad. It's quite bulky, but I quite like the effect. So I could probably get that a little bit tighter actually. So once that's rolled up almost to the end, hold it down, get your glue, put a little line of glue just at the end of the tear and roll into it and then hold it down. So you may need to just hold it down for 20 or 30 seconds or so, depending on how tight you've rolled it and how strong your glue is, I suppose. But with this Tombow, that should hold it in place after a few seconds. If it doesn't, I'll just add a little bit more, but I think that's okay. Squidging out a little bit, but that will disappear. I might just grab a little scrap of card and I'll just clean that up a little bit. It's just squidged out just a little bit there. But it turns invisible, so that shouldn't be able to see that once it's dry. So that's that bit, and then I'm going to stamp my sentiment now before I stick it down. So let me grab, I think congratulations, because I think this would make a really nice new home card. So I'll grab my black ink. I may find this is in the way now, so I probably should have I should have stamped it before I rolled it. But let me see if I can get away with that. I don't think I can. Well, just about. I've just about got away with it with a little bit of thing. So yeah, maybe learn from my error there and stamp it before you roll it. Good tip. Right, so now I've got my papers, so I can lay this over where there's lots of different house choices here. This one is a little bit big, but I think it looks quite nice poking through there. So I'm just going to lay that down where I want it to go, and I'm going to glue it just around the tear for now. Doesn't matter if there's any poking out because we're going to get rid of that. So now we can trim. Try and be as straight as you can down that line. Trim down here. And then we can glue that down now onto the car front. And then decorate it with the gems. Okay, so there is our torn card, torn and rolled. You could do that with any papers. You could do it with the papers on top and a plain underneath, and that would also work equally well. But it's a bit more kind of rustic, this design. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Bye.